I have like hair all over me because I've using a nail file as my mic today because it's just so small up here. But this is actually my cat's favourite toy. Don't worry, I don't let him play with it unattended, but ever since he was a kitten, he's just been obsessed with nail files. Um, he doesn't put them in his mouth. He's smart enough to do that, but he is watching me right now. Like, what the hell are you doing with my toy? So, yeah. Anyway, guys, hi, my name is Emma, and today we are going to be looking at two kind of crazy Reddit stories. I've only like proofread them. I haven't read them properly, so I thought we could do that together. But yeah, sorry I disappeared for a while. I did a couple videos. The first one was really good. The second one, I feel like you could feel my energy wasn't in it, which is sad. But being unemployed is getting to me. I've been Indeed is like ingrained in my mind now, but it's really hard. At the beginning, it's all like, yeah, have a lay-in. I can lounge around. I can cook fancy meals. I can go out. And now it's like, ugh, another lay-in. But yeah, I can't complain. Well, I can. I can't complain, and I have. But yeah, let's crack on. And wait around to the end for my question of the day. I've also got these like green cards and red cards. I don't know if they'll apply today, but I thought like when something's like a red flag or a green flag, it would be quite fun. But I don't know. We'll go with it. I will link below the links to these stories, just to credit the actual person that wrote this because they're making my life easier by giving me content to read. So I'll link it down below. I, male 37, am lost. My wife, female 37, is now a gay witch. I feel awful sharing, but I'm running out of ideas. My wife and I have been married for almost 15 years, and I feel like I'm in an impossible spot. Pre-kids, it was as you would imagine, just growing up together and figuring out life. Truly, we were each other's person and best friend. We both came out of a religiously traumatic experiences and vowed to keep growing and working through it. Growing as individuals has always been a common goal, and we champion that for each other. However, I'm uncomfortable with where things are going. For context, she became very depressed after our second child was born over 7 years ago. She didn't realise she didn't want to be a mum and got crippling depression. She was in bed for days and couldn't take care of our kids or work. Just a little side note here, I'm actually struggling with depression myself at the moment. So I can see how hard it can be on the person with depression, but also the people around them. And I don't have children, but I can imagine it can just make it 10 times harder. Um, just a quick shout out to my TikTok. I've started doing some TikTok videos where I'm quite raw about my day-to-day life and my struggles with my mental health. So I'll link that below if you fancy watching it. But yeah, let's carry on. I worked hard to get her the care she needed, a therapist and a psychiatrist, as well as take on full parental responsibilities. And I was fine with that. I didn't resent her, I just wanted her to get better. After a few years, she started to come back and participate in the family, and I was thrilled as I started to recognise the person I had married. A big part of the depression was also triggered by her religious trauma. Religious trauma is dangerous. I don't have religious trauma, but I got brought up quite Catholic, Irish and Italian influence, and I went to school in a convent. And at the age of 12, I got diagnosed with OCD, and the way the school dealt with it and used religion to try and make me feel even worse about myself, red flag all the way. She was part of a cult-like upbringing where she didn't have autonomy to be herself until we got married. I've always championed her finding herself. So here is where it starts to get strange for me. She starts exploring more of herself and comes out to me as gay, but maybe bi because she's very into sex with me. Okay, I think to myself, I'm not sure what to do with that. Then she continues her journey of self discovery a few months later and then tells me she's a witch and believes that she has psychic abilities. I just want to be supportive in her journey, but honestly, I'm just thrown way off. But the thing that really pissed me off was the next thing. She had a work conference she was going to attend and she was prepping to go and she suffered a minor stroke. It was terrifying. I thought I almost lost her. It was the worst experience I've ever had. Fortunately, she was okay and made a full recovery. In discussing her situation with a neurologist, they asked if she was on any antidepressants, which she was, or so I thought. I found out after that she had stopped taking them for a couple of months. Why, I asked. She didn't want to tell me, but admitted the conference she was going to was actually not a work conference, but a guided session with LSD for some healing ritual. Like, what the fuck? She wasn't going to tell me until after because she knew I wouldn't approve. I'm just so lost. I don't know who this person is anymore. I know if you grow, you will become different than what you were before, but this just feels like too much. 1. You've admitted to yourself that you're gay. Cool. No problem. We can figure out what to do. 2. You say that you're a witch and have psychic abilities. Okay, I think that's silly and don't believe in that stuff, but let's see where it goes. You were dishonest about going to do illegal drugs. Yeah. I think that this guy just sounds really nice. Green flag. Um, they've definitely grown and maybe dealing with their traumas in quite different ways, just from what I'm reading. But he does seem like a sound guy. I feel bad making a decision to leave now because she has just had a stroke and she depends on me for all things financially. But what the hell? I don't know this person anymore. I feel maybe she's going through something a lot deeper than just growing. Like I said, he seems lovely, but this is a lot for anyone. And for the person that or you thought was your person to completely do like a 360, um, questioning their sexuality, saying they have magical powers, and now going off to do drugs without even telling you, and that's a lot. That is a lot. I don't even really know what to say because I don't know how this guy I don't know what this guy is going to do because he obviously cares for her, but it gets to a point where if you care too much, where does that leave you? You're not caring for yourself. But let's have a read through some of the comments. The claims of having psychic abilities and sudden switch up in personality sounds like she might be having a secondary mental health crisis, especially if she stopped taking her medication. She needs to see a doctor. Yeah, I agree. Women have 3 windows for the onset of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. Most people can develop it in their early to mid-20s. Women can develop psychotic disorder in their early 20s, postpartum, and menopause because of the hormone shifts. She is 37. It's possible that she's heading into menopause, or this did start after the birth of your children. That's a good point, actually. And then someone replied to that saying, sounds like late presenting bipolar. Often it is misdiagnosed as depression or ADHD due to overlapping symptoms. I would have her tested for it. It can come out later in life for some after trauma. It makes people believe wild stuff like they are Jesus, Napoleon, a witch. My brother thought he was an angel. Yeah, I definitely agree that there's something going on here. Like, this isn't growing. She's in a place in her life which isn't good, and I, yeah, it's definitely some sort of crisis. It's really a shame she didn't or couldn't fully figure out all of this stuff before kids, but I guess the second child triggered. Sometimes having kids makes you feel like you're not in control of your own life. You're living for someone else, And ding, 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 that's exactly what kind of feeling she had when she was in a cult. That's a really, really good point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, let me know what you think. I think mental health is really important to talk about because imagine this post like 10, 15 years ago, it would have been more of like a laughing matter, but people have come really far in society and actually talking sense about mental health and how real it is and how important it is to make sure you're on top of it or make sure you're helping people that are suffering. Okay, on to our second story. I once again haven't really read it, but I think it's a bit lighter than our previous one. But it's good to have heavy stories because that's life. We need a mixture of both. My girlfriend 22 snuck out of bed to cuddle with her brother, also 22, on the couch in the middle of the night, and now she's mad that I'm mad. So I've been dating my girlfriend for about 6 months. She's amazing, beautiful, thoughtful, sweet, and smart. I really lucked out. She lives with her brother in kind of a shitty apartment, so we don't spend too much time there. We do hang out with her brother sometimes, and he's cool. He's a funny guy, and she really likes him, obviously. They are pretty touchy-feely, which I always thought was kind of weird, but then again, they are twins, and I don't have any siblings, so I figured I just didn't get it. I'd like to know what he means because touchy-feely can be a load of different things. I'm hoping it's maybe like a hug or can't really think of anything else. I have a brother, he's older than me, but I get on really well with him, but I would hope no one ever describes us as touchy-feely. I didn't put too much weight on it overall, whatever. That's until I spent the night at hers. And I woke up in the middle of the night and she wasn't next to me. I thought she went to the bathroom or something, but she was gone like half an hour. So I finally got up and went into the living room, and she's in there with her brother's head on her lap, and she's like cuddling him and petting his hair. Of course, immediately, I was like, what the fuck? And they jumped up surprised. He seemed embarrassed and ran back into his bedroom without saying anything. She wasn't embarrassed though. She was mad. She dug into me immediately. I said I get they're twins, but she's supposed to be cuddling with me, not him, and it's completely inappropriate to have his head in her lap. She said he had had a nightmare and she was comforting him, but like, he isn't 5 years old, he's a grown man. She said I would never understand and literally kicked me out of the house. I've been texting her, but she said she needs space. I seriously feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Am I the one out of line for thinking this is inappropriate or weird? I think that's a bit weird. I'm gonna give my opinion, which you might not agree with, but for him to jump up and be embarrassed and like run to his room, I feel like he kind of knows it's not normal. Um, yeah, I don't think I could ever have my brother's head in my lap and be petting him, but I am not a twin, as I have said. Let me know if there's any twins out there, if maybe you feel differently about this sort of thing. I feel like you'd have a better understanding. I've always actually really wanted a twin sister, because I feel like it'd be so fun. Let's go to the comments. They were basically one at one point, connected to their mother, which connected them. Like, how could they not be close enough to cuddle like that? I used to rub my brother's back for hours, who is 9 years older than me, because he was so sick coming down from heroin, and I felt terrible for him. We are half siblings, but I just love my brother, and I would have done anything for him. If he needed a kidney, it would have been me that donated. I love him, so if that's how I feel about my half brother, I can't even begin to imagine how a twin feels about the other twin. Inseparable. Asking them to separate is kind of controlling and codependent. I get that she is your girlfriend, but what are you afraid of? That they're gonna have sex? Come on now. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm just trying to get you to see the bigger picture. Please try and put yourself in someone else's shoes. I mean, I'd do anything for my brother. Me and my brother actually both have the same autoimmune conditions, and I remember one night I was actually out on a date in central London, and I got a call from my parents that he wasn't doing too well. So I went all the way back out to North London. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I didn't even live there. And I gave him the emergency injection and I got him to hospital. And I would do anything for him too, but I wouldn't cuddle with him in the middle of the night because he had a nightmare. I think there's a line, and for me, that's the wrong side of the line. A lot of people are saying that they think OP overreacted. Um, I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest. I don't think I would. Like, if I saw my boyfriend doing that with his twin sister, I don't know how I'd react. That's a hard one. It didn't sound like there was anything sexual in what they were doing. People can comfort people who aren't a partner. She has empathy for her brother, especially if the dream was about trauma, and of course she would understand and console him. My question for you is, why are you so bothered by her comforting him? Why do you see cuddling as sexual? Her brother run into his room was likely not shame but panic reaction to you shouting. That's interesting. I feel like I'm like sort of a bit on the fence now. At the beginning I was like, no, that's weird. I wouldn't do that. But I guess if you're not a twin, you wouldn't know. And also, maybe it's just like we've been raised by society to see like cuddling and comforting the other sex as weird, even if they're like the closest relation to you even there ever can be. A study was done that shows most American men stop receiving non sexual affectionate touch around the age of 9. That is heartbreaking. Physical affection is not inherently sexual, but if all you've known since elementary school is that touch equals sex, it's hard to blame OP for being a little weirded out. I never thought about that, because if it was her twin sister, he wouldn't see it in that way. Oh my god, I'm actually like changing my mind. That's crazy. This is such a good post. I feel like the past two posts have really made me think, which is nice, because I don't think much now that I'm unemployed. I will link this below too if you want to have a check. It's only like 10 days old, so I'm sure there's going to be loads more comments coming through and hopefully an update. Yeah, hopefully he can read through this and maybe change his mind like I did. But yeah, any twins, let me know what that bond is like, because I'm imagining it's very strong. And so my plan is to do one more story. I'm just gonna go on my homepage and go like this, and wherever I land, we're gonna do it. So it might be funny, it might be tough, it might be rubbish, it might be good, wherever it's gonna be, we're just gonna go for it. Here we go, and stop. Am I the arsehole for not wanting to talk to my husband for fat shaming me? My husband asked me to take a bath with him, and I said sure. Once we were in the bath, he said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Ask away." He then said, "What can we do to get you into a proper workout routine?" Red flag. He then brought up that I hadn't done a workout this week, and it's because I'm in the busiest season at work and working late most days and coming home and still doing the cooking and cleaning. And for context, I can't work out earlier as I'm already up at 5 a.m. to get ready for work. He then proceeds to shame me for having a row of chocolate, 4 pieces for the whole week, and said I don't deserve it. And when I said he ate a whole pack of chips, his response is, "I've earned it because I've gone to the gym." I'm happy he's back into his fitness, and I've always supported him. I think there's going to be a running theme throughout this post. But he takes things to the extreme and then after a few months falls off the bandwagon. But it's just that he thought it was okay to bring it up when I was naked in front of him. I never felt so humiliated. and then proceeded to say my PCOS and previous health conditions are not to blame. Oh, what an absolute knob. Now I'm having anxiety around food and just don't want to eat anymore. But am I the arsehole for being short with him and not really wanting to engage after what he said? I can normally shake off the things he does and says, but something about the way he spoke and looked at me just got under my skin. For context, I'm 158 centimeters and 68 kg. 2 days after this discussion, he brought me chocolate as if I'd eat that. Not like a test or something. I don't feel like the weight even matters, because if you really cared about your partner's health and fitness, that's not the way you would go about it. He is just insecure himself. I don't think you're the asshole at all. I don't think he's an asshole. I think he's a giant asshole with brown stuff and tissue stuck to it. He is an awful human being. Stop cooking and cleaning. Put yourself first, like he does. If you want to work out with your new free time, then do so. But stop spending your precious time. Stop cooking and cleaning. Put yourself first, like he does. And if you want to work out with your new free time, then do so. But stop spending your precious time doing grunt work that creates more free time for him. Yes. I wouldn't even address it or say I'm going to stop cooking and cleaning. I just come home from work, change into work gym gear and go, then come back and ask why dinner wasn't ready and the dishes weren't done. Yes. Yes. My husband had a discussion with me about some depression weight I'd gained after sex. In his mind, sex would relax me and feel great enough to be receptive to this conversation. Dude literally didn't think the opposite would happen, and it just made me want to not have sex with him anymore, because then I was anxious about the fact that he was just criticizing my body in his head the entire time I was on top of him. Nah, I don't get it. They're actually stupid. And also, it's not the way you do it. Like, if you really want to help your partner with their health or their weight, which it's kind of got to be a mutual thing, really. And this is not how you do it. I've never. That's crazy. But yeah, let me know what you think. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I've brought the energy back. I'm going to try be regular again. Well, I say again, I haven't been regular at all. So I'm going to start to be regular. Unlike my periods, which are not very regular and very annoying. Like I said, it'll all be linked below. I'm also going to link my TikTok, which I feel like we've touched a lot on mental health and stuff today, which has been amazing. But yeah, I'm quite raw on TikTok with my daily life and my mental health struggles. So if you're interested in that, I'll link that below. So, question of the day. Are you a starter and main person or a main and dessert? Because I have always been a starter girl, even as a child. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.